spot savings, opportunity, and recognize risk. Saving means to make money. The Cal Ben Pure Soap Company can save you thousands of dollars and give you good old-fashioned real soaps that are triple concentrated and twice as good as what you're using now. Soaps made from vegetable and coconut oils that contain no useless dyes, perfumes, deodorants, or antibacterials. Your risk is the hundreds of hazardous toxic detergents that give you rashes, itching sores, and deteriorating clothing called lint. If you want something better, if you want something you've never had before, you have to do something you've never done before. Getting a free catalog is easy by calling 800-340-7091 or see Calvin on the web at 5starsoap.com. Take charge of your health now by calling 800-340-7091 or see Calvin on the web at 5starsoap.com.
From his Central Texas Command Center, deep behind enemy lines, the information war continues. It's Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Look at this headline out of the San Antonio Express News. If you're a PrisonPlanet.tv viewer, you can see it on screen. If you're a regular radio listener, you can just go to the San Antonio Express News website. Drug trafficking helping economy along the border. And it's a positive news article about how great drugs are to help America. See, they know you're sick of the drug war. They know statistically people want to decriminalize. The argument is if you do decriminalize, all these drug gangs will move into other crimes. They already are. Kidnapping, extortion, the metal theft. We will be overtaken by this. And the globalists plan to use this to bring down Mexico. I've been talking about it basically the whole show, and I've got Iran news, I've got the Federal Reserve trying to censor us news. I don't know if people are really upset about, and I'll give you some news on that. Tonight on the nightly news, I'll get in more into the Iran situation. They are trying to totally green light a war. This is the closest we've been. All the analysts we've interviewed have agreed. Lieutenant Colonel Anthony Schaefer said, well, the request has been made for the new war, and yeah, they want it, but the Pentagon is saying no. I mean, this is incredible, the stuff that's going on, and Obama needs this distraction from Fast and Furious, all of it. Finishing up with our source, then we're going to Ben Fuchs after I hit a few news items. Our source, whose info checks out with all my research, you've got shootouts by high school football games here in the border area, in the U.S., in the town of, actually pull up the town name for you, Rio Grande City. You've got the Mexican military operating, you've got narcotics trafficking by the U.S. government, you name it. In the final equation, you talk about the Mexican military being corrupt, they've been caught, the Mexican government. How does Felipe Calderon tie into all this? Where is it going? I mean, Stella Castile, former DEA agent, told me 6 years ago, he says, Los Zetas has tried to recruit me. They're training at the outside the King Ranch in Kingsville. They've got secret bases down there in South Padre, and he was talking about this base out here. They're going to have a huge war between the cartels, destabilize Mexico, then the U.S. will invade. Then the ATF came and set him up and put him in prison. Now, all for guns, saying he was selling shotguns. But the point is, Selly had trained operators all over the world, to quote, fight other drug cartels when he was in the DEA. That's on record. Him out there training in Colombia, all over. From my research, the globalists are trying to knock out their competition, but there's so many people who aren't intimidated and who are poor in Mexico, over 100 million people now. They're just willing to die. Super macho, super tough. And now this weird culture of death, the skinny one, this worship of the Grim Reaper, it just sounds like some type of psychopathic tyranny like we saw in Russia, Nazi Germany, Pol Pot, Fidel Castro has opened up, and that it's only getting worse. What's your final equation take on this, Fast and Furious, how it all ties together, what your military and law enforcement sources are telling you?
Okay, let me start with this. What you're talking about, the metals being stolen, absolutely true. I know 4 people that are in the industry along the border here. They say record amounts. They cannot scrap enough metal because as soon as it crosses the border, it's being held up and seized and stolen by the cartels. 2, the University of Texas in Brownsville has actually gone out and pulled, I believe it was a 50 caliber round out of their building. It sits about 250, maybe 300 yards across. That it's closest from the border in Matamoros to Brownsville. They've taken it out of the walls and have had to cancel college day education at one point, I think actually 3 times. Both governments know what's going on. They're both in on it. How do they know what's going on a consistent basis? It's all just a big joke on all of us here. Both sides know what's going on. The Mexican government comes out and points fingers at us. The president over there says it's the U.S.'s fault. But I'll tell you what, if they try to legalize drugs in Mexico, you'll see an all-out war because you're taking away the only livelihood the majority of those people are doing down there that are involved in illicit work. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, but see, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. Justice be done, may the heavens fall. Letting them have the drug money is only empowering them anyways to then start into new crimes. Do you see my point?
Yeah, exactly. So, and the way I'm thinking is if they try to legalize it, it's going to really tick them off, and they're going to go out on a mass killing spree. They cannot try to legalize it over there because they're just going to get more irritated. You're messing around with the bees, and you go to that nest. And
when is it going to end, though? The bees are getting really fat and mean off the government making drugs illegal. See how this is a monster, though, that just sucks you into it?
Exactly. And another, I was thinking a few nights ago, I was watching the pastor on television. His name is Perry Stoney. He said the 300 most powerful and richest families of the world are the ones that are leading all this. They're the ones that are setting all this up. And it just boggled my mind to hear this guy that has such an awesome reputation, a man of God, saying that 300 families of the most elite in the world are the ones that are setting this stuff up. I mean,
that's the committee of 300. That's actually accurate. That's kind of the global overall consortium. It's really about 20 families, but then there's a couple hundred under them that serve them. It does come out to a committee of 300. That is one of the top globalist groups. But here's the issue. Just like study how the West brought down China when China made drugs illegal. In the end, it brought the country down. That's what's happening here is the opium wars. They're doing it, and they mean to bring the U.S. down with it. I'm telling you, we got to bite the bullet and go ahead and totally decriminalize. It doesn't mean legalize. And it's just going to have to be an all-out war then against crime. And the answer is arm the Mexican people, have a total Second Amendment, and I'll guarantee you it's because you got 99% of people don't own guns that now the cartels could feed on them. What would happen if every citizen in Mexico had a firearm and was trained how to use it? What would happen when people came to their door to shake them down then?
It'd be totally different over there. It would be totally different because a lot of those people are actually hard, honest, working people.
I know.
They really are. It's ironic. And, going back to what you were talking about a while ago about those Wall Streeters, you look at the history in Rome. The Rome collapsed because they were going after that top 1 or 2% that had all the money that were creating the businesses and blah, blah, blah. They did the same thing, and we're following the same footsteps of old Rome. We're going after the people that have the money, that create the jobs. It's stupid. And I see those kids getting interviewed on TV. They have no idea why the hell they're out there. They have no idea why they're out there. It's like seeds being spread across the wind. That nobody seems to have one centralized idea about what's going on.
No, in fact, if you go to Infowars.com, and I've seen these signs, it says redistribute or revolution. It's clear, David. We're going to have you back on. In summation, in 30 seconds, how do you see this ending? Because do you agree with me? Clearly, it's only getting worse.
It's only going to get worse. I don't see an end in sight. It would take maybe someone getting elected that would have the guts to say, you know what, we're not going to stand by, we're not going to participate in this, and we're going to shut the border off. And again, the one thing that really irritates me is why.
I agree. You shut the border off, that'll shut the profits off on both sides. But that'll never happen because the banks want that money, and they're going to use it to destabilize Mexico, and not for America to take over Mexico, for the globalists to occupy it with our troops.
Yes.
And again, they create a crisis where it'll get so bad, you'll know it's a setup, but you'll still have to support the troops going in because you don't want to be kidnapped.
Right. So, really, all you got to do is turn on the news down in the Rio Grande Valley and watch. I mean, it's online. The two biggest ones are KRGV and KGBT, and they stream online, and you can see it. There's nightly things going on over here. It's a daily thing. That you can catch it on the news. It's every single day.
So it ends in Mexico being occupied by the North American Union Security Force, not by America, and both our countries get rolled into a continental security perimeter. Unbelievable. Sir, thank you so much for spending time with us.
No problem. Thank you, Alex, and to all your viewers, thank you. Y'all have a good day.
You too. Great guy there. Really knows what he's talking about. And so many others do around here, too. I'm going to try to go up and interview some police around here and shove a camera in their face. Hey, why are you writing tickets on citizens for going 5 miles over the speed limit? Why don't you do something? Why don't you actually do something and be honest with people? You idiots allowed them to make drugs illegal so organized crime could take over, and now it's destroying us. But on top of it, the Mexican government is so evil, they're about to forcibly inoculate all the girls in their country with a vaccine known to kill people and sterilize them. God help us, man. God help us. All right, we're going to go to pharmacist Ben Fuchs here for the balance of the hour. And I've had big breaking news from down here at the border here today. I've also got Federal Reserve news coming up at the end and this war news with Iran. They definitely want it. But the good news is people in government are blowing the whistle on it and trying to back it down. We'll have more on that, on all of it tonight, 7 o'clock. I'll be on my own show with Aaron Dykes co-hosting it with me, InfoWars Nightly News, coming up this evening. I wanted to get Ben Fuchs on again because now they're openly saying they're going to go after anybody selling vitamins and minerals. Now they're saying they're going after anybody selling food on a street corner or tomatoes or whatever. Now they're going after all the lemonade stands. It's all about totally cracking down. And I wanted to talk to him about the attacks on vitamins and minerals and this attempt to forcibly inoculate people and get his view on what inoculations are doing to people. We're about to go to break, but Ben, great to have you here. Just putting bookends on this, sitting there the last 15 minutes or whatever you've been holding. What did you think of our report from the Texas-Mexico border where a failed state is now collapsing into the United States?
Well, you know what? I always do this. I follow the money. Cha-ching, cha-ching. I see who's benefiting from anytime there's something going on in the news and anytime there's some kind of scandal going on, anytime we see something about the police state or encroachment of government, I want to know where the money, who's paying for all of this and who's benefiting from a financial standpoint. And somewhere along the line, you're going to find bankers, and somewhere along the line, you're going to find industrialists, and somewhere along the line, you're going to find big corporations, and you're going to find the people being screwed. And that's usually what happens.
That's right. They get their huge profits out of conflict because they're attacking both Mexico and the U.S. People think of wars as one side or the other. The globalists play people off against each other. That's why they're in control, only a few thousand of them. Ben, we're going to go to break here, but how would you fix in just a sentence what's happening in Mexico?
How would I fix what's happening in Mexico? Well, first of all, we have to, as individuals and as single citizens, we have to understand that the government is not here to protect individual rights. They're there to protect themselves, as all establishments do. So we have
Stay there. We got to go to break. We'll come back with more on that on the other side. The answer is arm all the Mexicans with fully automatic weapons.
This is Alex Jones with 5 good reasons you should consider buying a solar power generator. Number 1, new climate legislation could easily double or triple your electric bill. Number 2, our new energy czar wants to control how much power your electric company allows you to have. It's true. Total government control of electricity in the name of smart grid technology is coming. Number 3, in some areas of the country, the power grid is dangerously overloaded. And now new socialist legislation is only compounding the problem. Number 4, dangerous weather is always a threat to local grids. Every year, thousands of families lose their power from weather-related outages. Number 5, a solar power generator provides powerful backup insurance and peace of mind. Folks, I really believe in the solar power generators offered by Solutions from Science, one of my oldest sponsors. You can get more information at www.mysolarbackup.com. That's mysolarbackup.com. Remember, the government doesn't own the sun, so go to mysolarbackup.com or call 1-877-327-0365. Alex Jones here with vital information concerning our nation's fragile food supply. Folks, there are some truly dangerous trends forming, and I think it's important for my listeners to do 3 things right away. Number 1, study the past. History really does repeat itself. Number 2, learn to spot the dangerous food shortage trends. Number 3, take decisive action. A perfect storm is brewing for a global food crisis. That's why I'm telling everyone to read the new book, Rising Prices, Empty Shelves. Warning signs that trigger the deadliest famines in history. Don't get caught unprepared when the crisis hits. This book is only available at risingpricesemptyshelves.com. You'll also get a free copy of Supermarket Survival, How to Cut Your Grocery Bills in Half. Again, that website is risingpricesemptyshelves.com. That's risingpricesemptyshelves.com.
OpticsPlanet.com is where discerning gun owners and outdoorsmen go to gear